Oh, would you look at the time? It's been 4 months since I last talked about Extreme Demons. Better fix that.
So today is part 4 where we'll look at the legacy list. Of course I'm going to talk about new levels that got placed between when I finished the script of the last video and now, which in this case is over half the video. So without further ado, I bring you part 4, half legacy levels and half new place levels. This level is the funniest level on the list. From its name to getting a day 1 rate to being a top 10, Sorry Never Clear is hilarious. What makes it even funnier is that it's not even a bad level. Being a remake of a very old Impossible level of the same name, Sorry Never Clear actually has rather good decoration in terms of what it's going for. It feels like a modernized 1.6 level, while also having a fairly tame object count. The gameplay isn't great, for God's sake, it's an impossible level from 1.6, of course the gameplay is going to be amazing. But with that aside, Sorry Never Clear is really comedic gold, and it's worth trying just for that alone.
The whiteboard never lies.
The Rupture is a level with decoration and gameplay by Canes that sort of takes inspiration from the awful 1.9 Insane Demon Rupture by Checo. Verified by our favourite Tartarus Verified, the Rupture really has nothing worth noting. The gameplay seems okay, it doesn't seem good, but it also doesn't seem awful. The decoration is solid, it's nothing super special, but it's par for the course at this point. I don't really love the song for a GD level, as it doesn't seem to have a good melee, so the gameplay is lost for what it should sync to. The Rupture is fine, but it's easily the most forgettable top 10 in a long time.
Literally, what the hell is this? The gameplay doesn't sync to the song, the decoration is okay at best. The gameplay looks enjoyable as an automobile accident, and the whole thing just seems like the combination of the worst parts of every top 30. Okay, so, I ascend to heaven. I descend to madness. I crescend to France. Notice how one of these doesn't fit? Yeah, it's the same thing with Cybernetic Crescent.
Cybernetic Crescent is the newest Viper and Mega collab, and I have very mixed feelings on it. The decoration is good for a lot of the parts, though parts like Rustam and Funky feel like they're missing something. They look like they should have more of a background, but they don't. The gameplay is also very split, in my opinion. The first 40% is incredibly boring to watch and play, and it doesn't help that the two hardest parts are Nazgub and Vipin, which both come right before the drop. This really isn't the fault of tech or any of the playtesters though, since both parts are very weird and hard to balance without butchering the parts. The level definitely picks up at the drop, where the gameplay remains to be pretty solid, albeit quite learny for the rest of the level. However, another issue is that Semifying and Serpunge aren't low detailed enough, which is bad since those are the two parts with the most objects. I think Cybernetic definitely would have turned out better if the level started at Funky, or 20% in. That way it wouldn't be as boring to try and get to the drop. Digital was structured in the same way, so Cybernetic would feel more related to the other levels if that was how it was structured. Oh, and the end screen is amazing. Good job, Furs and Zalsberg. You two knocked it out of the park. Timor is pretty cool, created by Colorbolt and Maxi25, who did the gameplay and decoration, respectively, and verified by Doggy. Timor nails the tone it's going for. Being a horror-themed extreme demon, the backgrounds and animations work really well with the song to create this unsettling atmosphere. However, I also like that the level isn't full-on horror, like Peaceful, which means anyone can enjoy it, even small children. The level also has an extremely tame object count at just over 51k objects, which is insane when you look at what Maxi was able to do. The gameplay is also really good according to most victors. It's very fair and skill based, so you always know what you died to. Don't have any complaints with Timor, it's really good in all departments. Lucid Chaos is alright. It's definitely the best level in the Lucid Nightmares series, which consists of this, Lucid Nightmares, and Concaved Memories. But I still don't think it's amazing. The level is quite colorful, though the part quality is quite inconsistent. The gameplay also seems okay as well, though some parts definitely seem worse than others. The song is also really good, despite being the weakest song used so far in my opinion. I feel like since Lucid Chaos doesn't have the infamous reputation that Nightmares had, it's a potential victim to being forgotten, which is never fun, but there really isn't much else to say here.
The hell is this?
I'm very torn on Sinister Incision. It's a good level, the gameplay is enjoyable according to most victors, and the decoration is really good and sewn together really well. But I'm not the biggest fan of this level because of one thing. It's a remake of Night Terrors by Heinz. Heinz is famous for his super fun gameplay, and I feel a decent portion of that comes from his skill-based and somewhat sight-readable gameplay style. Sinister Incision isn't very sight-readable. I think if Sinister chose to only take inspiration from Night Terrors and not be a remake, then it would have turned out better in my opinion. It's still a good level, as all hybrid mega collabs are, but it's definitely my least favorite.
Please stop! Oh my god, just stop making L levels, please! It's not that hard!
Libertas is a cool level. It's balancing. This level is insanely unbalanced and unfair, which is a shame since Boogie levels are usually really solid and really fun. Hopefully the level can be patched up with a balance update before more victors come in, since there's currently only one. I really do hope the best for this level, but that can only happen with a complete revamp of the balancing. Icaros is a pretty okay level. The decoration is good, but nothing super outstanding. The song and gameplay are also solid and quite good according to most people. I will say that I think Icaros well overstays its welcome, considering a good minute of the level is very slow and boring with a very low CPS. The artwork in this level is phenomenal and probably the best part of the level, but even then it's mostly in the first minute and the end screen, which makes the 3-minute length seem even more unneeded. Icaros is alright, doesn't do a whole lot to stand out, but it's also not that bad. Music Gay is a really cool level. Being one of the only Rainbow Nine Circles levels, it definitely executes this idea well. It does look quite dated as it was released in 2.0 and rated in 2.1, but it still holds up decently well in my eyes. The level is very bright, however, which is a shame, but it does look beautiful in my opinion. The gameplay is also considered quite good for a 9 Circles level, albeit there are some choke points scattered into the second half of the wave. I'm not angry that this got rated, in fact I'm quite happy. It's a cool level that should have been rated when it was released, but better late than never I suppose.
I don't care. I just don't.
Hey, what level knocked Bloodbath off the list?
A sheep-themed remake of a 1.6 Impossible level.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
I'm not lying, I only lie when I'm not telling the truth.
Alpha Bar X is okay. I think the gameplay is actually pretty decent, though it does look quite boring. The decoration and the song are really solid, and the various sheep arts throughout are just so adorable. I'm glad this level has a bit of its own identity and can be remembered for more than just the level that knocked Bloodbath off the list. What the hell is this? Monster Cat is the sequel to Demonica, and it's 100 times better, and I still don't like it. I mean, it's competent, but basic competence at making a level shouldn't be celebrated. The parts aren't well strung together at all, and the gameplay is so average it makes Electrolux look like a pioneer in good gameplay. Monster Cat is the most D-tier level could be, so let's move on.
Hey Loops!
Hey, Brit.
Let's watch Full Detail Ecstasy together.
Sure.
A few minutes later.
Ecstasy is fucking stupid. I hate the song, I hate the gameplay, and goddamn I hate the decoration. It's an actual fucking seizure on anything except no detail mode. Do not give this level any fucking attention, it sucks so much ass.
And with that abomination out of the way, I can finally talk about the levels I would have started with had no levels been placed between December 20th and February 8th. However, I'm quite tired from looking at all that shit, so I'm gonna go play Just Dance as a break. Okay, I'm back. What's the next level I'm gonna be talking about?
Just Dance by Texic and more.
Oh, come on!
Just Dance is fine. Inflective has some unique gameplay, which is pretty cool, but that's all about that's worth mentioning with this level. Very average level in my eyes.
Why are Carnival's joke levels some of his best levels?
Conical Depression somehow works despite being an extended challenge level. A lot of people have really enjoyed the level, and a lot of people haven't, which is the same divide on Low Death funnily enough. Conical's decoration is just classic 1.0, and the song is also just stereo madness. I like Conical quite a bit, and a lot of people also seem to feel that way. Phosphorescent is a cool level. An entirely solo level by Lime, Phosphorescent has cool decoration and good gameplay past the first 30%. The first 30% looks and plays incredibly wonky, but the rest of the level picks up the slack. Phosphorescent isn't going to win any awards, but it's still a really cool and solid level.
My thoughts on Prismatic Haze are exactly my thoughts on Chromatic Haze.
Dude, bro, you said this last time. What are your thoughts on Prismatic Haze?
Exactly my thoughts on Chromatic Haze.
Oh my god, dude.
Prismatic Haze is really cool. I love the decoration, I love the sync, and I love the gameplay. Both levels are really good, and you should try both if you're skilled enough. Tempest Tornado is another solid level. Aside from the ship at 2%, the gameplay here seems really solid, and the decoration is also good. Once again, there's not too much to say, it's just another solid level that deserves recognition. Aurora is not a good level. The decoration is extremely dated for the most part, and the gameplay is all over the place. Some parts seeming fun and other parts seeming weird and awkward. I like how some of the duels flow as well as the space section, but that's really as far as my compliments go. The boss fight is also awful. Even for the time it was made, it was considered to be a poor boss fight. Arctic Arena is easily the worst Eclipse Mega Collab. The decoration is mediocre at best, but oftentimes looks incredibly dated and bad. Its gameplay is also very poor, even after the nerf date. And the song is just Theory of Everything 2, which, while not a bad song, does not help the level at all. Arctic is one of the most forgettable levels of all time, and for good reason. I don't think anyone wants to play whatever the hell this is. I like this level, though I see why some people don't like it. I think the decoration is charming and holds up decently. The gameplay is pretty weird, as expected from the Korean Mega Collabs, and the consensus is pretty divided over whether it's fun or not. I think the level looks fun and satisfying, but I also found the Hell Zone fun, so what do I know? The song is good, but a bit overused in extremes. If you hate this level, by all means tell me that I'm wrong, but I like this level a lot. I also like this level.
Dude, is there any level you dislike?
I'm glad you asked, because now I get to use the 70-page essay I've been meaning to talk about every level in Geometry that I dislike. So first off, I dislike Tartarus because...
2 days later.
And that's all the levels I dislike. So where were we? Oh yeah, ABP.
ABP is Team N2's second Mega Collab and widely considered to be their best. I really like the consistent ice theming throughout. It really helps the level stand out. Decoration is pretty dated as it's from mid 2.0, but it's not as bad as some other decoration from the time. Gameplay is pretty weird and unbalanced, but a lot of people find it enjoyable, which is good to hear. The song is probably the worst part, but it's still an alright song. Probably one of the best Extreme Demons from 2.0, though there isn't much competition in that department.
Stop making hell levels! Yeah, so is this? Oh, this isn't a Stormfly Son Hell level? It's a Team N2 level? It has wave? I was just informed that this is not a traditional hell level, so let's actually take a look at it.
The Hell Factory is awfully balanced and has the weirdest and worst gameplay out of the Team N2 trilogy. The difficulty spikes a lot throughout and the learning curve is intense. The decoration is actually pretty alright in my eyes. It doesn't have too much early 2.0 in it, which is always a plus. The song is just the Yada song, which means nothing is added and nothing is lost. This is the only Team N2 level that I dislike, and I really dislike it. Annihilation Nation was Xylonox's first rated extreme, and one of his worst levels by default. I still think the level looks amazing. It's basically almost as good as factory style could get, with the best being Berserk. The gameplay is awfully balanced, with the two waves being way too hard for what the rest of the level's difficulty is. As such, the thoughts on the gameplay are very negative, though the non-wave sections are considered to be very fun at least. The song is also pretty cool, though I'm not super in love with it. Xylonox has made much better stuff since this, but if this is his worst rated level, then you know he has a great lineup of levels. Mirage is an old Mega Collab hosted by Golden that was verified by Technical in late summer of 2020. Despite being nearly 3 years old at this point, I think Mirage looks pretty good. The pre-drop looks out of place with all the other parts, but the rest of the level flows well. The gameplay is also considered to be quite fun, albeit learny and a little awkward at times. I also really like the song. More people should play this level and give this level more attention in my opinion.
It's literally half a level, it can't be judged fairly.
Extinction is a weird level. Originally starting life as a rated level without a verification video, it was later verified by Chom and then Kappa Nappy. The level then received a massive nerf date by Extravagon, which dropped it 40 spots on the demon list, and that version is the current version on the servers. Many people have called this one of the worst extremes because of how little it was playtested, even after 3 updates. Even if the gameplay was good, the decoration is really bland and subpar, which is surprising since there were some talented creators behind this like Slim Jim, Nico99, and Jacob Rosso. Not much else to say here. I like the song, but that's about it. I hate Essentia. It's It's way too long, way too hard on the eyes, and has really annoying gameplay. The song also blows fat ass. I don't get why people like it. A terrible level that no one should play.
Chlorine's part literally makes me go blind, so therefore the entire level is bad.
Penultimate phase is pretty cool. It uses the better part of the song than the ultimate phase and has much better gameplay and decoration all around. The level relies a bit too much on bright glow for my liking, but the level is still solid. Not groundbreaking by any means, but still a solid 8 out of 10 level. Aftermath is annoyingly disappointing. For being the finale to arguably the most famous trilogy in GD, it falls flat in all regards. The gameplay is abysmal and only fun if you can blaze through it thanks to 240Hz. The decoration is a straight copy and paste from Cataclysm. This level legitimately should not be considered the sequel to Bloodbath in my opinion. What should have been done is have the extension of Bloodlust be the blueprint for Aftermath's gameplay, and then build off of that. I also think the level should have been called Armageddon, since that's a logical step up from Bloodbath. Aftermath is just an all-around failure, and there's really no point in giving it more attention than it deserves. Which is none. Innards has quite the story behind it. Originally meant to be a 6 or 7 star level, since he super buffed the level to Tartarus difficulty. Keep in mind this was in 2017 to 2018 when Bloodlust was the hardest demon and Yeti-Garasu and Sonic Wave were both in the top 10. The level gained a lot of attention because of its difficulty, and Sensei struggled to make good progress on the level, for obvious reasons. Eventually he dropped the level and temporarily quit GD, but he later came back and released a much easier version, which is the rated version on the servers. Innards is an alright level. It's extremely unbalanced, which makes the experience very boring. The decoration is really cool for how little objects it uses, and the song is also very good. I'm very glad this level was not released as a top 1, as all of the problems with the balancing would likely be amplified at a higher difficulty. Gridlocked is subpar. The gameplay is awkward and messy like Eclipse's other Mega Collabs, but at least this level doesn't have any godforsaken core in it. I don't have a lot else to say here. It's better than Arctic Arena, but worse than Spatial Rend in my opinion.
It's aged like milk.
Novelist is another pretty cool level. A completely solo level by Grillex, Novelist takes a lot of inspiration from Laserblitz levels in the gameplay and decoration department, though the decoration is lacking a lot of the detail and theming Laserblitz is renowned for. The gameplay has a steep learning curve, but most victors say that it's decently fun, which is good. The song is also good. It's not amazing, but still a solid 7 out of 10. That's a good way to describe Novelist in general. It's a good 7 out of 10 level that isn't going to leave any negative impact on the player. This is one of my favorite extreme demons because of how unique and goofy it is. I just love everything about this level, even the unorthodox gameplay. There's so many little details here that I really love. The level just also stays under the 80k object limit somehow, which is really good. The level just oozes creativity and I really love it for that. Not much else to say here. The level is just so creative and unique in so many ways. NO is a really good level. It's the pinnacle of Metal Face's style, and it results in a very unique and memorable level. There's some problems with the balancing, as the mirror wave is much harder than anything else, and the level's a bit flashy, but it's all around a good level. I don't think it's one of the best extremes ever, but it's still really good.
How many of these are there?
666 is one of the most unique extreme demons in the game. It also probably inspired Red Rooms and Man-Man, both of which are appalling levels in terms of how they're decorated, so that's fun. 666 is themed around gore and hell, and executes the theme very well while still remaining kid-friendly enough. What I mean by that is that there's not a decapitated naked woman as the end screen, unlike in Man-Man. 666 is incredibly flashy like Killbot, so it's not for everyone, and the gameplay is also memory-based, which may turn some off. I hate the song, it's the one part of the level that I actively despise, but everything else here is really good. While not for everyone, I still think 666 is a good level and one of Xylonox's best. I've always liked this level. A solo level by Vismus that was verified by KoreaQuart in very early 2.1, Nibelheim is a very unique level. It's a memory-based demon that you could argue is sky-themed, but either way the decoration is really solid and it's aged pretty well. Some of the gameplay is pretty fucky, like the build-up queue, but a lot of the level flows very well and fits the song very nicely. It doesn't break any new ground by any means, but still a really solid level in my eyes. always hated this level. The decoration aged like milk, the gameplay is incredibly awkward and weird, and none of the parts fit together. The level also ends at 77% and has a 30-second end screen. So that's great. I really love the song, but everything else just falls apart like a sandcastle when the waves hit. A2 Marble is the Geometry Dash equivalent of a movie that was only released to fulfill a contract. Made out of necessity after Schiffels randomly decided to change the song and make it sound worse for no reason at all, A2 Marble is a poster child for low effort. Only a quarter of the gameplay was actually made by Penta, and it shows. Most of the level relies on visual sync with orbs and holding, and not clink sync like every other Penata level that had a lot of effort put into it. Decoration is also incredibly disappointing. Nobody here tried, despite there being good creators behind this like Nico99, Hell Pegasus, and Sminx. It all feels like the bare minimum to get a feature rate, which is sad, but that's unfortunately the truth. Had Penata made all of the gameplay and the team put more effort into their parts, this could have been one of the best extremes, but alas.
It's the funny free extreme demon if you can do a top 5 wave challenge. I'm gonna show you how to make your very own The Antimatter by Bionox and more. Step 1. Take Base Cave. Step 2. Make it purple. Step 3. Question your existence.
Marathon is a level that tries a unique concept and executes it to its full potential. The concept is a 4-minute memory level, and nothing gets in the way of that concept. The decoration isn't great, but I feel it's supposed to be that way as a homage to pre-1.8/1.9 levels, which relied a lot on memory in order to be difficult. I also like how there's 26 different sections throughout the level. It's a nice little touch. The song is also really good and gets exponentially faster and intense the longer the level goes on. Really getting your heart rate up and your nerves on edge. I know it's not fun to learn or play, but I still think this is one of my top 5 favorite extremes, because everything works in favor of the concept of the level, which allows the concept to blossom and truly stand out against other extremes.
This is why it's sometimes best to forget about the past.
Previously said this was my least favorite extreme demon in the game, and I'll admit, it doesn't hold the crown of disappointment anymore. Don't get me wrong, it's still on my bottom 5 extremes, but it's not the worst one. It's a remake of an old Impossible level, and as to be expected with remakes of old Impossible levels, plays like hot ass. It's broken up by awkward memory parts that don't fit at all, and there's also a random 2-player straight fly, so that's great. Decoration is very obviously 2.0, so take that how you will. There's not much else really to say here. It plays about as well as Twitch support helping the Pest to get his channel back, but that's about it.
Well, we did it. We started the legacy list. The levels will only continue to get worse as we get deeper into the legacy list, but that's for another video and another time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and real quick, I just want to say that I lost my death sentence, so I'm no longer dead. But I'm also not alive.